Tesla is green on the day by about 0.25%. GM just had earnings. Tesla is entering the Malaysian market, and a lot of other EV manufacturers are already in this market. This could be a very big deal, and we'll talk about it here in this video. On top of that, Tesla looks like we're going to continue on this upside move. As the Motley Fool says, Tesla is a must-own stock in one of the most disruptive sectors that we have seen in our investing lifetimes for a very long time, essentially since the iPhone and some of the other great technologies were invented. Tesla is in a league of its own, and I think GM's earnings also highlight that. So let's go ahead and get into all of this information. If this is your first time to the channel, well boy, are you lucky. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with everything going on every single day. This is your place to be, one-stop shop, keep you up to date and informed. So Tesla is up 0.25% today. Now Microsoft and Google earnings will be coming out right after the bell today. If those earnings are bad, as I have said, it's not going to matter. Everything's going to sell off in the markets. The thing that's going to crash the markets in 2023 and 2024, it's not the Fed, it's economic data, this recession possibility, as well as earnings. If earnings don't match up to what these stocks have done, you're going to be in for a problem. Much the same way as Tesla just had earnings. Well, Tesla beat on everything, much better than expectations. But one little thing was not as what markets liked, and that was Elon signaling maybe we do get more price cuts in the future if rates keep going higher and the economy keeps getting worse. Well, Tesla stock sold off from $300 down to about $250 per share. If something is negative with Google and Microsoft, well, it's not going to matter. And we'll cover that later on today, cover those earnings, see if there's any big implications for our markets. But if there is not, and if those earnings are good, Tesla stock will continue higher. Notice you bounced around 255 and you have been trending higher ever since. The RSI is at 53.74, so above that neutral level, and it looks like you have regained what I have called this trend line ever since back here on March 13th. You hit this low, found resistance here, and you've been testing this as support ever since, and now you're bouncing back up. It looks like we are trying to regain the 20-day moving average as well. That is at $272.32. If you regain that, that's going to be a very positive as well, and I think that either happens if earnings are good in after hours today, or you know, if they're not, obviously things could get worse from here. The big story with Tesla, though, and I don't want you guys to be confused, is the Fed on Wednesday. Now, I've talked about this before, but I'll highlight it again for anyone that is new to the channel that is, you know, not aware of this. Tesla is in a very unique situation. Tesla is in a situation where they're a pretty stable company, right? It's not like Tesla is expected to fall off of a cliff as far as revenue or profits anytime soon. There's a lot of different segments of the business. I think you and I would agree Tesla is a more stable business than a lot of other businesses out there. It's almost $1 trillion market cap for a reason. So, what's the difference between Tesla and Google, Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Amazon? What's the difference? Well, they're all pretty stable businesses, but Tesla has massive growth. Tesla is growing 50% year over year in the latest quarter. Well, during that environment, when interest rates go higher, well, you don't really want to own that long duration growth, that expensive growth. Well, when interest rates start to fall and the economy looks like we may or may not go into recession, what's going to happen? Well, let me tell you. Investors will want to own high quality, but high growth. And I think Tesla fits that perfectly. And Tesla, the actual stock, is dependent very much on interest rates. Why do you think Tesla was back here in 2021, the early part of 2022, around 400, $300, right? When it hit all-time highs. This was because the business was doing well, but interest rates were super low. And if we go back to that, that should cause a pretty steady upward rise. And this could all be on Wednesday. If the Fed signals a pause, and then if the markets start to interpret that as rate cuts coming next and no more rate hikes, which that's already kind of priced in for the markets, we do need to see final confirmation from Fed Jerome Powell. So that's kind of a big catalyst I'm looking at for Wednesday that's likely to cause a lot of upside from here. And now Tesla is down over 0.5%. The next 24 hours are going to be very volatile in our markets, and anything can happen. As far as the option activity here today with Tesla, you are seeing 515 hedge fund and institutional orders worth $91 million and positive order value of 52%. Although it's going to be volatile, a lot of money is betting that Tesla is going to go higher, and this is something to pay attention to. In the news today, Tesla is planning to build one of the largest Tesla charging stations in Canton, Massachusetts. That, if approved, would be one of the largest in New England. The station could be a big deal for electric vehicle drivers in the area, since the difficulty of charging away from home is or was a notorious downside to investing in an EV. Canton's planning board heard Tesla's pitch on July 12th to install 20 new electric vehicle chargers in the parking lot at Trillium Brewing Company, conveniently located off I-93 and near I-95. The Level 3 chargers, or superchargers, in the company's Paralance promise an 80% battery refill in about 30 minutes, which could be a game changer for road trippers passing through Greater Boston. This is expected to be a very busy charging station and would be a much needed charging station in this region and could lead to faster adoption of Teslas in this specific area. Malaysian fans welcome Tesla's official launch in the country. Tesla officially entered the Malaysian market after hosting a launch event at Pavilion KL, a high-end shopping mall located in Lumpur. This is the latest right-hand drive market after the UK, Hong Kong, Macau, Japan, Australia, Singapore, and Thailand. The event showcased all Tesla Model Y variants for the first time, including the rear-wheel drive, long-range, and performance. The public can view and experience these eco-friendly EVs until October 31st. Tesla began accepting online orders a week ago, starting at 199,000 RM, and will begin delivery in early 2024. Malaysia is one of the few locations where Tesla is a latecomer to the party. Many strong EV competitors entered this market quite some time ago. These include Audi, BMW, BYD, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Porsche, Smart, Volvo, and many more to come, including the homegrown brand Proton partnering with Geely. Some local enthusiasts and early adopters have been spotted driving Tesla EVs by importing the vehicles using private channels. Some Singaporeans posted online photos of cross-border road trips driving through the country. Tesla's competitive pricing and advanced tech could be an advantage that may be attractive to local buyers and offer Tesla a chance to gain a leading title for market share. Tesla is required to complete 50 superchargers within 3 years, and 30% of them must be open to other brands as part of the approval to allow the establishment of Tesla in the country. Earlier in the year, figures showed Malaysia had 900 charging points, and it was expected to provide up to 4,000 charging points by the end of 2023. Some of the biggest EV-related news today is the fact that GM shares fall as the automaker outlines new cost-cutting drive. General Motors is wrestling with costs and struggling to build more electric vehicles, as it reported Tuesday that adjusted pre-tax profits and margins in its key North American market fell from last quarter, despite a jump in revenue and per-vehicle transaction prices. The automaker said it plans to invest less in new products and cut operating costs by an additional $1 billion through the end of the year and lifted its full-year profit guidance. Battery production at the Ultium joint venture plant in Lordstown, Ohio has been hampered because our automation equipment supplier is struggling with delivery issues. The situation should be resolved by year end. GM, in the meantime, is building battery modules by hand on manual assembly lines. GM is building batteries by hand. And some people think that GM is really going to be competition to Tesla. Give me a break. The Motley Fool says Tesla has shown its willingness to adjust prices as the market demands, which it can do thanks to its margin cushion. Legacy automakers are more captive to the market as they don't have the same cushion, so Tesla can continue pulling this lever to capture more market share. However, don't be surprised if Tesla raises prices once it sees more strength in the EV market. This action can likely be traced to what the Federal Reserve decides to do with interest rates, as it significantly affects the rate customers or consumers can get on a car loan. A lower interest rate gives the customer more buying power, and Tesla will likely adjust its pricing based on this fact. This is precisely what I was talking about in the beginning of this vehicle. If rates start to fall, and really all you need to see is bond yields falling, which could happen on Wednesday far before you ever get the first rate cut, well, that's going to have a big effect on Tesla's pricing. If bond yields fall, if rate cuts are coming, and that's what the markets are getting out of this Wednesday meeting with the Fed, well, that's going to mean lower borrowing cost. That's going to mean Tesla not going to need to cut their prices as much. Maybe, as the Motley Fool says, even raise their prices. Tesla has added a crafty and unique destination feature with 2023.26 software update. Tesla's new automatic navigation feature is the automaker's way of suggesting your destination and giving details like estimated time of arrival, battery upon arrival, and a photo of the location. It uses things like a destination sent to the vehicle from the Tesla app, a calendar event, or a routine, like leaving your home for work at a certain time, and vice versa, to suggest the location. The same feature is used by Apple Maps and suggests anything from directions to your local gym based on the time you might go every day, or an alternate route to a doctor's appointment that is on your calendar. The suggestion could save time and recommend an alternate route of travel due to roadwork or an accident, for an example. The institutional ownership continues to grow larger with Tesla stock, and this comes as no surprise after Tesla's earnings. Well, they just wanted retail to sell. They didn't want to buy as much at 300. They wanted to buy at 250 or 260. And you see the new positions flooding in. This one upgraded their position by 57%, 33, almost 34% increase, 38% increase. One fund did sell out, but it's far and few in between. There's not a lot of red here. There's a lot of increases to positioning as well as brand new positioning that you are seeing. Look at this fund. They own 82,000 shares of Tesla, increased their position by 2,700% in the last quarter. I mean, this is the same story over and over again. Another couple firms did sell out, but they had very small positions to begin with. By and large, it looks like people are buying the dip on Tesla, and it seems like a pretty good time to do so. China's top leaders met Monday and announced today. This is why Chinese stocks over in China, Chinese markets, went absolutely insane last night. That they hinted at moves to adjust and optimize properly policy in what the leadership called a tortuous economic recovery. State news agency Exoina quoted the 24-member Politburo and saying the economy is facing new challenges and difficulties. That's mainly due to weak domestic demand, operational challenges for companies, as well as a grim and complex external environment, it said. The meeting emphasized that it is necessary to actively expand domestic demand, give full play to the basic role of consumption in driving economic growth, expand consumption by increasing residents' income. According to the meeting, it is necessary to boost the consumption of automobiles, electric products, and home furnishing, and promote the consumption of services such as sports, leisure, and cultural tourism, said the report. Alibaba shares soared 5%, Tencent was up nearly 4%, Baidu was up almost 7%. In electric vehicle space, XPeng soared 11%, Li Auto was up 4.15%, and BYD rose 2%. This is a reconfirmation that the Chinese policymakers have heard the market's concern on more support needed for the domestic economy. They want to achieve 5% GDP target for the year. The first job they need to do is create jobs for the labor force in China. I do certainly see some encouraging language released from the statement that removed a lot of concerns of people having a high focus on real estate, employment, private investment, and so on. So far, the language has been encouraging. So we are within days, maybe weeks, of getting a large Chinese stimulus package. Now, Tesla is not necessarily a Chinese company, but they do a lot of business over in China. So this should benefit Tesla as well, and could be a reason for some of the recent strength in Tesla stock. Tesla, heading into the close of the day today, is down 0.8%. Things are very volatile. The stock was up when we started filming this video. I think it only matters for at least tomorrow what happens with Google and Microsoft earnings. If those earnings are bad, then the markets are going to be pretty bad, and Tesla would not be immune to it. Tesla's stock is currently at $266.91 per share, and it looks like you have hit the low of this sell-off as long as earnings, again, with your big tech names, are decent. I would expect a bounce around 265 as we did see today, and that did happen. You are struggling a little bit at that 20-day moving average. If you break that to the upside, that's going to mean likely a continued rally from here. Kind of the worst case scenario that I'm looking at, if things don't go well with earnings, is around 260. That is this uptrending line that I have had drawn for a couple days now. You should see a bounce at that level. If you don't, you could fall back to that 250 level. Obviously, if earnings are really bad with these big tech names, that could be a different story, and we will cover that for you in the next video coming out later tonight. So if you want to stay up to date with everything going on with Tesla as well as the broader markets every single day, in the main goal of helping you make more money, reach your financial goals as quickly as possible, I think that's the name of the game. I think that's why you do what you do. You're investing in the markets to make more money. Well, hit that subscribe button as well as like the video on your way out. If you guys want to take it a step further, come trade with me live in real time. Every time I make a trade, I send out an alert. If you have problems, if you have questions, if you have concerns, or you just want to learn, that is a place for you. I am there every single day, 24/7. You can ask questions. You can, again, come learn. This is not a texting alert kind of thing. This is an actual community. Link down below in the description of this video if you want to sign up. You could try it, you could cancel it if it's not your thing. You can't really lose too much. So that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.